The first news is following Kobe Bryant's contract extension. Dunwell and Nowitzki uneasily discuss their own futures. Kobe Bryant's massive contract extension comes as a massive surprise because so it was apparent that both Bryant and the Lakers wanted to continue their relationship until end of Kobe's career. Most assumed Los Angeles would at least wait to see how the recovering Bryant performed in 2013 to 14 before deciding to hand him more and more money. It turned out that the Burst family apparently had no issue jumping the gun and making Bryant the league's highest paid player in both 2014 to 15 and 2015 to 16, even if it meant hamstringing the team's attempt at rebuilding with Bryant at helm. Because so, the Lakers will have kept room to sign a high-end free agent this summer. Salary cap space will be hard to come by after that, and Bryant plus a star plus minimum salary fielder is no champion contender at this point. What the contract extension also didn't do is alleviate some of the confusion. Both Miami and Dallas will enter their own off-season with. The Heat are attempting three pretty gnarly things at once, defending their consecutive titles, steering clear of punitive race of the lottery tax, while keeping their borderline legendary triptych LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh around and happy. All three can opt out of their contracts this summer to take in gigantic extension, and all three will likely want as much money as they can possibly get in reaction to taking less money as free agents in 2010, and the 2 and possibly 3 championships that followed. The kicker here is that LeBron James is definitely underpaid at even the maximum price. Chris Bosh might be overpaid considering his diminished role. If he makes the maximum, and Dwayne Wade stands the chance of being overpaid, his career-long knee injury continued to limit his productiveness as the season wore along. Wade, even mindful of this, didn't try to rock the ball when recently asked about a Bryant-like extension. From Brian Windhorst at ESPN. When I get into that position, it's something I will know about, Wade said. You have to sit down at a time and see what is best for you and for your team. As a player, I loved it. Everyone who gets what they get deserves it. Great. Wade said of Bryant's new deal. There's a reason that Lakers felt that Kobe should get their money. There's no right or wrong. LeBron James hanging around and ever respectful of the Miami Heat legend couldn't help but chime in. "The West is getting that Kobe deal," Jen said from the next locker. "That Legend part is tricky. West is having another fabulous All-Star level season as he averaged 18.5 points and a combined 10 rebounds, assists, and 2.7 steal blocks in only 33 minutes a night. The 11-year guard is shooting 53% from the field, and he's shown no real signs of rust in his offense that is ranked second in the NBA. That sort of production might not be worth the potential for year. $100 million deal West could sign in this off-season, but it's not far off, especially when you add in the Kobe factor, because in spite of LeBron's brilliance, West is Mr. Miami Heat. The problem is that the Heat don't know if this sort of game-to-game production will hold up in a season that still has 6 months to go before the NBA Finals tips off. Assuming that he'd even get there, West was dragging his leg around during the 2012 and 2013 postseasons, and had to drop out of the 2012 Olympics, and it's worth questioning how much his Mr. Miami Heat status should play a part in how much he will be paid in 2017-18. The luxury tax will soon be 3 times as onerous as it was in 2010, when the Big Three all signed their cut-rate deals to create a winner. While there's no guarantee that West will demand the max from the Heat, he can always shave money off the yearly deals in exchange for years at the end of the extension. There's a likely guarantee that the decision-making process won't be easy. All sides, West and his reps owner Mickey Arison, Heat Jeff Pat Riley, respect each other and having winning at the top of their priority list. Sometimes that's not enough though to eliminate uneasy feelings. If anything, the Dallas Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki seem to have chased away any chance at an uneasy negotiation months ago, when they floated the idea of taking a massive pay cut as a 2014 free agent if it meant helping the Mavs secure a superstar helper from this summer's free agent class. Nowitzki went on record as saying, "If it helps us to be better, I will take a pay cut." And while he didn't exactly hedge on those words in the wake of the Bryant extension, he didn't fully commit to them either. After repeatedly talking about how he wasn't concerned about extension at this point in the 2013-14 season, Dirk offered this preview to Jeff Kaplan at NBA.com. I don't really want to look forward to March, Nowacki said. I'm not going to extend, obviously. I want to play the season out and then we can talk about the summer. I want to have a good season. I want to have an injury-free season and then Holger's going to take his leather coat and meet with in a bunker suit and we will go from there. Ever the opportunist, Dallas owner Mark Cuban saw a chance to get a slight, if totally accurate, bit of pre-game negotiation in from Dwayne Price at the Star-Telegram. When asked if it is a given that Nowacki will resign with the Mavs, Cuban said, "You've got to ask him, but we are going to do all we can to keep him forever." Cuban did say he believed breaking the bank and making as much money as possible is not Nowacki's cup of tea. Making hundreds of $millions, Cuban said, will do that to you. Let the hope, at least let the $204 million Dirk has made in Maverick payroll alone will be enough to sway him to let his $22 million 2013-14 salary drop preciously this summer as the Mavericks once again line up for another off-season with plenty of cap space. Nobody is expecting Dirk to take the veterans minimum, but if he did, the Mavs, provided they pass on resign Sean Marion and Vince Carter, while keep Samuel Delbert, could have nearly $30 million in cap space, and a solid foundation already in place. That's only the ownership's wet dreams, because as Kobe Bryant confirmed last week, a whole hell of a lot changes for players when it comes time to talking real numbers and turning down real money. The next news is some question South Korea spy claim about Kim's uncle. It's triggering news. The claim by South Korea's spy agency that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un probably sacked the country's second most powerful official, his uncle. But the first question is it true? Seoul's National Intelligence Service has a spotty record of tracking what's going on inside what may be the world's most secretive, unfriendly, and difficult to navigate country. Some analysts dismissed the agency's claim this week that Kim has probably fired Jung Song-sak, a man widely seen as a kingmaker who guided his young nephew as his consolidated power. It appears to be based largely on Jung's nearly months-long disappearance from North Korean media, something not unheard of in the leader circle, and the agency believes that two of his associates were publicly executed. The agency is thought to get its information in part by closely monitoring Pyongyang's media for signs of change, by talking to defectors in Seoul, especially those who can continuing ties with North Koreans, and by cultivating contacts in the North. North Korean media have so far been silent, but soon could reveal whether the NIS is right. Pyongyang's political and military elite may gather December 17th to mark the second anniversary of the death of Kim's father, Kim Jong-il. Here's a look at past hits and misses by South Korea's spy service. Island attack. Many in Seoul saw an intelligence breakdown in the spy agency failure to predict North Korea's artillery bombardment of a frontline South Korea island in November 2010 that killed 2 civilians and 2 Marines. At a closed-door parliamentary committee meeting after the attack, Lower Max said that Spy Chief Wang Se-hung told them that his agency had intercepted North Korean communication indicating such an attack 2 months before it occurred, but dismissed it as routine rhetoric. Kim Jong-il's travels. South Korean spies claim success in predicting that Kim Jong-un would travel to China in 2011. Initial media reports citing the president's office said it was Kim Jong-un doing the traveling, but the NIS says that wasn't its fault. The agency said its spies were aware that the senior Kim was traveling alone and didn't correct that inaccurate reports because had to protect the source of its information. The intelligence agents reject allegations that it misjudged the repercussions of Kim Jong-il's deteriorating health in the years before his 2011 death by telling South Korean officials that the government faced imminent collapse. Instead, the agency says it advised them that Kim remained in control of his government, but that its instability had increased slightly because of his health problems and a botched currency revamp in 2009. Kim Jong-il's death. The NIS was widely criticized because of reports that it learned of Kim Jong-il's 2011 death more than 2 days after it occurred, and in the same way that everyone else first heard of it. When a tear-shocked North Korean television announcer read a formal statement, South Korean spies responded that they were not alone. and let no intelligence agents in the world knew about King's death before the news public announcement. The next news is 21 bodies found in Mali mass grave. 21 bodies were found overnight Tuesday in a mass grave near Bamako, believed to be the remains of soldiers close to Mali's ousted president Amadou Toumani Touré, officials said. We have found 21 bodies, probably of red-buried soldiers in a mass grave in Diego. The bodies were exhumed, a Malian Justice Ministry official said. A security official told AFP that identified cars found in the mass grave seemed to confirm that there were missing red-beret soldiers. The discovery near the capital, Bamako, comes a week after the arrest and detention of Amadou Haya Sanogo, leader of the March 22, 2012 coup against Touré that plunged Mali into chaos. The government said Sanogo has been charged with complicity in kidnappings, but a source close to the judge in the case told AFP. The charges also include murder, complicity to murder, and carrying out kidnappings. 15 people, mainly soldiers from his inner circle, were arrested immediately after him. Sanogo's coup toppled what had been heralded as one of West Africa's most stable democracies and precipitated a crisis in which Al-Qaeda-linked group seized control of the country's north, enforcing a brutal from Islamic law until a French-led military intervention forced them out. In months that followed, Sanogo's land headquarters in the central town of Kati were the scene of abuse and killing carried out against soldiers seen as loyal to Touré. Some 20 red-berets were killed by Sanogo's followers in a failed counter-coup on April 30, 2012. Their bodies were never recovered. An aide to Judge Yahya Karamba, who brought the charges against Sanogo, said investigators were led to the mass grave site by his former followers. In the past 3 weeks, Sanogo's former companions had given us precise information about the mass grave, he told AFP, at a cordon set up by security forces near the grave. But I wish to be cautious, he said. We need further analysis to determine if they are indeed red-berets. He said Mali was likely to seek help from a foreign countries such as France to carry out the necessary tests. Senegal was controversial, promoted from captain to lieutenant general in August, prompting fellow ex-student members also seeking promotion to mutiny at his caddy barracks and forcing the army to intervene. The bodies of 3 missing soldiers were subsequently discovered in and around the barracks, and around 20 officers, including Senegal's former deputy, were arrested. Senegal still commands support in some circles, including parts of the army, but Defense Minister Somelo Baboya Mega, part of a new government sworn in after presidential elections last summer, said this week he would not hinder the court case against him. The last news is too real, fast and furious. What caused poll workers' crash? Investigators are working to determine the cause of a ferry crash that killed Fast and Furious star poll worker and his driver friend as fans gathered at the crash site to erect a makeshift memorial in honor of the actor. Sheriff's Deputy Peter Gomez said Sunday investigators hope to learn how fast the 2005 Ray Porsche Carrera GT was traveling and what caused it to go out of control, including whether the driver was distracted or something in the road prompted him to swerve. The crash also killed Walker's friend, professional driver Roger Rodas, according to Walker's publicity. Amanda, she said Walker was a passenger in a car when they drove away from a fundraiser in the community of Valencia Saturday. The 2 bodies were so badly burned that officials said they would use dental records to make a positive identification. Walker, 40, and Rodas, 38, had thrown a fundraiser benefiting victims of the recent typhoon in the Philippines. The event was held by Reach Out Worldwide, a charity work founded in 2010, and aid victims of natural disasters. The crash happening in a business park just a few blocks away from charity event. The Porsche smashed into a light pole and a tree. Sheriff deputies from the car engulfed in flames when they arrived. Witnesses tried to put the fire out, but both men were pronounced dead at the scene. Jean Thorpe was at a charity event and spoke to both men just before they rode off. "Hey, I will be right back in 5 minutes. Those are last words I heard," Thorpe told ABC News. Police tell ABC News the impact of the crash was so great. A chunk of the car flew several feet into a nearby building, breaking a window. Rodas and Walker co-owned an auto racing team. Roda competed 10 Pirelli World Challenge GTS race this year, the racing organization said in a statement. Thorpe said Rodas was an accomplished pro racer who was accustomed to driving fast cars. "That's why I'm shocked. He's driven cars that's faster than this," Thorpe said. Mourners visited the crash site and left flowers, candles, DVDs, and other memorabilia from the Fast Furious and Furious franchise that launched Walker to stardom. "He was a very good actor and a very good person. I did meet him in Santa Barbara when I lived out there, and he was so sweet and so kind and so down to earth," Natalie Hoyt told ABC News Radio. Walker's Fast and Furious co-star Tyree Gibson broke down when he visited the crash site. Walker has been on break from filming Fast and Furious 7, the latest installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, which has been one of the most successful in recent memory. Universal Pictures has not said what it plans to do with Fast and Furious 7, which was slated for release in July. The real question is how long they are going to take to figure out the direction of the film and to make everyone comfortable with coming back work, Hollywood Reporter executive editor Matthew Bellamy said. Walker had recently finished on Brick Mansions, which was in post-production another film, Hours, a drama about Hurricane Katrina and its aftermath. It was due to be released on December 13.